Hey everybody, it's Pandy and I'm playing World of Tanks. This video is going to be dedicated to the green tank and red hair Dave. Cheers mate, you guys are going to love this video. As you guys can see, this video is going to be about the VK3601 heavy tank. The reason why I say it's a heavy tank is because that's what it was meant to be. That was the designer's intent on it being a heavy tank. The VK3601 started its development when the DW2 development had been halted in favor of these two tanks, 3001 and the 3601. In September of 1938, Henschel received permission to continue its development of these tanks, which pioneered the overlapping and interweaved main wheels concept for tank usage. The 3601 was intended to weigh about 40 tons and carried about 100 millimeters of frontal armor to protect itself from tank fire. The 3601 was intended to be armed with the 7.5 centimeter L24 or L43 or L70, which was supposed to be its main arm with a turret similar to what was deployed on the Panzer IVs. A total of 6 prototypes were built for the 3601, none of which actually received turrets, were actually mounted onto the machine. Before development was canceled in 1942 in favor of continuing development on the Tiger I, turrets were developed to be fitted onto these machines for further testing, but they were canceled due to pretty much directing resources right into the Tiger I project, the VK4502H. 2 of the VK3601 prototypes were converted into recovery and towing vehicles. It's all known to what happened to the other 4 prototypes, but it's actually assumed that they were scrapped for the metal that they used to put them into them. Pretty much further the war effort. Development of the 3601 helped develop the experience for the Henschel staff needed to help make the Tiger I into what it is and into the beast and legend that it is. Now in World of Tanks, the 3601 is an ungodly machine that spreads wings of angels of death all over the place and just rips everyone to pieces. I love it. When it comes to the firepower on this little big bad boy, I bring my inner wall warrior out and go full swing with the 7.5 control gun. I don't know if I said that right. Cornish gun, whatever. However I say it, it's still a fantastic gun, and it's still fantastic even after they nerfed the aiming time or reload speed. This is one of the few guns which gold rounds will give it a bonus to penetration and damage at the same time, and it actually is pretty cheap to shoot when you add all the math together. It's the only tier 8 gun that you can actually receive onto this tank, and it does pound the living shit out of anything that you run into. You can simply ruin the day of any tier 9 tank out there with one wave of the hand, or multiple waves, or multiple shells of gold. The armor on this little tank is what I want to call a little tiger. Basically comes with the same armor layout as a tiger tank, minus 20 millimeters of armor on the side and rear. But this is all made up by the sheer fact that it has a lower profile, allowing it to hide in more places than the tiger tank. It's important to angle your armor against the enemy just like the predecessor, the bigger brother, mother of mothers. It's just important to angle that armor just purely because it allows you to get more thickness of your front so that less rounds can actually pin it. This is the same tactic that a lot of people and everyone pretty much that I know use for the Tiger tank to make it a little more survivable. It makes the little tank a little harder to be messing with, because ideally if you believe the tank comes out with the best possible angle for pretty much any tank of tier 6, allows you to pretty much compete against anyone out there that just happened to be in a tier 5, as long as they're not a KV with a 107 death cannon. And when I mean death cannon, I mean it will ruin you and kill you and rape you. Now the mobility on this tank reminds me a lot of what would be like a heavy medium tank, kind of like an E50. It's technically a heavy tank during its development, but World of Tanks decided to class it as a medium tank for some unknown reason. It does haul ass when it needs to, and it provides a good platform to move from A to B within a short notice. Great especially when you're trying to keep up with the changing battlefield and fill holes when the time is needed. Does a great job at that, and just overall it's just very, very well balanced. All in all, and overall, the VK3601 again reminds me heavily of the E50. Comes with great firepower, armor, and mobility, making the medium tank with heavy tank armor a very balanced platform to be able to perform against anything. It tears into enemies out there just like you would through tinfoil, nothing flat, especially with the fast reload, high pin, and good damage. Everything else that's great about this tank is just simply because it's great for making cash for other tanks. It's a really good platform, especially when it's a tier 6. It's good for making experience, because my average experience on this bad boy is 1k per battle, so it is a monster. You're able to convert a lot of experience with this thing, and it allows you to do all kinds of things that you wish you can do, even if you're not in all the high tier battles. But it can compete in those battles just purely because of its gun. You can go up to tier 9s, tier 10s, and still be able to pin out armor without much issue because of the gold rounds, the 225 pin. So I want to thank Dave for turning me on to this tank, because if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never checked this tank out. I probably would have just skipped it. So yeah, thank you, Dave. I'm at the end of the video right now, so I want to go ahead and do the tradition that I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving away some gold to you fine folks for watching my video. The current contest today, as always, is going to be 3,000 gold for the North American server and 2,500 gold for the European Union server. To win said gold, you must be A, B, subscribed to my channel, and B, post a comment down below, maybe about the video question, which is, when it comes to any of the tier 6 tanks out there, what has to be your favorite? This is my favorite, the 3601. I also had other previous favorites like the KV3, but the 3601 has replaced it just purely because of what I described here. But if I had to pick something that isn't the 3601, I'll pick the KV3. Comes a big monster gun, decent armor layout, and simply, it's gonna be a tier 7. That should say enough. So everybody, you guys take it easy. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm Pandy, and good hunting.